Alright guys, welcome to this episode where we look at Google Earth. We're going to be using it to look at some important places on Earth. We're going to identify the continents and the oceans. Now, Google Earth is a website provided by Google, and it is used by students all over the world to have a better understanding of important places on Earth. As we can see here, this is what we call a bird's eye view. We're looking at Earth as if we were a bird flying all the way up there in the sky, probably from outer space, and we're able to have that top-down view. Now, key to Google Earth is the use of satellites, man-made satellites. The satellites are sent into space. They create a network. This network of satellites allows for points to be plotted on the Earth's surface according to their latitude and longitude, and we're able to, using this system, have GPS, which is the global positioning system, so that we're able to locate specific places on the face of the Earth using those references of latitude and longitude. So I'm just going to use my mouse here and I'm going to move the world literally, and we can see that we have different things here. These white things would be clouds. These large blue areas would represent water, and we'll get to what they are specifically called. This area, would be some dry land. The greener areas would suggest forest cover, and we move around again. We're seeing large areas of blue, and we can understand now why Earth would be called the blue planet, right? From outer space we're seeing lots of blue. Here we have another brown section. This is a landmass, and we soon get to what this landmass is called. And we have some brown areas here again, so that kind of suggests a dry area. All right, so if you were to go on and use Google Earth, you could also have a general overview of the world. We're going to see if we can get to Jamaica, so I'm going to type in Jamaica, hit search, and it brings us in. All right, so here we have a little overview. It says Jamaica, Caribbean island nation, has a lush topography of mountains and forests and reef lined beaches. That's a little overview. So here we have Jamaica. Again, this is from the bird's eye view, and we can see the outline of the country. We can see that it is an island because it is totally surrounded by this blue, which would represent the Caribbean Sea. Now as we zoom in, you can see these boundaries, these little lines, dotted lines. So that's kind of showing us where our parish boundaries are, right? And as we come into focus here, we're seeing different areas. We see the Cockpit Country, Montego Bay, Lucy, Negril, Savannah Lamar, Black River, Lacovia, Treasure Beach, Mandeville, and so on. All right, still gonna zoom in a little more. So as we're going closer, you'll see that the names of different areas are popping up now. So here we have Chapelton, we have Forepass, Spring Plain, Hayes, Lioneltown, Portland Cottage, Old Harbor, Race Course, Gimme Me Bit, Milk River, Longville Park, Freetown. Here we have Maypen. So we're going to punch in and we're going to go to Mineral Heights. As we're going into Mineral Heights, we see the picture here of the primary school. Someone would have taken this picture and uploaded it to Google, and as such we have that area being displayed. So here is a bird's eye view of Mineral Heights Primary. So this is the main road. So students coming from Lionel Town, they would stop at this intersection, get off, take a taxi, and get on the way to school. Or some students would walk in. We would come all the way up the boulevard and we would get to school. So that's Mineral Heights Boulevard. So now we can see some of the roads that turn off. We can see here Sodium Avenue, we see Silver Close, we see Sulphur Close, and as we move around we'll see others. Here we have Mapen Bypass, the Bustamante Highway. So this is where the school is. This is where the missionary church is. This area would be our playfield area. So let's zoom in and see if we get greater detail. So here again, the boulevard, we have Platinum Avenue just beside us, and this would be where our gate would be, entrance to the school. This little area would be the security post. We have the main car park. We have this block now that has grade 5 right at this end, and the kitchen below. We would have the main block with the principal's office and grade 3 students here, the library, the reading room, etc. We would have the bathrooms, one set of bathrooms here, the stage area. So we would have some of our grade 2 students on this block. We would have the holding area. Just beneath these trees you have the tuck shop. We have our netball court. We have the new buildings for grades 4, 5 and 6, and the little bathroom area here. So this is what Mineral Heights Primary would look like from above. Let's continue to explore this. So going down the boulevard again. Here we have the intersection of Mineral Heights Boulevard and Salt Avenue. We have the Nazarene Church here. This is the play field that is used. Continue down the boulevard, Sodium Avenue, heading out to the main road. Okay, so this should be the intersection of Bauxite Crescent and the Mineral Heights Boulevard. On this side you'd have Sulphur Drive going to Iron Circle. Then we get to the main road here. So this area would represent some of the commercial spaces at the front of Mineral Heights. We have Regency Plaza. You would have Omar's Roti here, the wholesale, the gas station should soon appear here, and this one has Millennium Mall on this side. All right, so in short order all of these pictures will be updated. Here's the Mineral Heights roundabout. If we were to continue this way, Curtis Pen Road here, that's it, the road below. This is the bypass. Over here we would have Canaanites. So as we notice, these two roads are running beside each other. This is the toll road, the PJ Patterson Highway, and it's going to come out at this roundabout here, and cars coming from Mineral Heights without taking the highway would come enter the roundabout and continue, and cars and trucks from the highway would come off here and continue into Mapen or to Mandeville. Alright, so now let us move away from Jamaica and let's go to the Caribbean, see what that looks like. The Caribbean is a region of the Americas that consists of the Caribbean Sea, its islands and the surrounding coasts. This region is southeast of the Gulf of Mexico. Alright, so that's a little summary. So here we have the Gulf of Mexico. Here we have Mexico. We have the Gulf of Mexico. And from our social studies, we know that a gulf is where the water pushes into the land. We can see that the gulf has land on three sides. All right. So it's a large, very large bay, large area where water pushes into the land. So we have land on all these sides. Now this is a peninsula. A peninsula is the reverse of the gulf. While the gulf has land on three sides, a peninsula has water on three sides. So we have water here, water at the bottom, and we have water here as well. So here's the Caribbean Sea, and this area would be the Caribbean. So we have Cuba, we see the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Let's zoom in and identify a few more of these areas. So going back to some social studies that you'd have learned earlier, the Caribbean has the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. Now, Greater Antilles simply means the large islands of the Caribbean. So here we have Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico. So these are the islands that would make up the Greater Antilles. Now, over here, we can see that you have some smaller islands, and these would make up the Lesser Antilles. So here, Jamaica is west of Hispaniola, and Hispaniola has two countries on it. We have Haiti and the Dominican Republic. We have Puerto Rico, the British Virgin Islands, and now some of these smaller islands. We have St. John's, Anguilla, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and we have Barbados. We have Trinidad, Aruba, Central American areas, Costa Rica, Panama, and this is called the Isthmus of Panama because it joins two large land masses. It joins South America with North America. So it's the Isthmus of Panama, a small area of land that joins two large land masses together. Let's look at Barbados, for example. We see that this area is the Caribbean Sea, but if we zoom in, we're going to notice something different about Barbados. So, Caribbean Sea, Barbados is not in the Caribbean Sea. In fact, Barbados is in the Atlantic Ocean. These countries would be washed by the Caribbean Sea on the western side and washed by the Atlantic Ocean on the eastern side. Again, Barbados is not washed by the Caribbean Sea, but is washed by the Atlantic Ocean. And as we zoom out, you'll be better able to see that. Now let's do a little mathematics here. We're going to see if we were to take from Kingston, Jamaica, Caribbean airline flight that's going to go to St. Lucia. Let's see. Caribbean airline flight that goes to St. Lucia. That's 1,795 kilometers. Then we go on to Barbados. Let's pull over just a little bit. So the flight goes from Kingston to Barbados, on to Trinidad, then to Aruba, and goes all the way back to Kingston. So notice what it says here. If you notice, we form this shape. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, so this is a quadrilateral. And here it says the perimeter, that's the total distance that this plane would have traveled, would be 4,181 kilometers approximately. It's a little bit more. And of course, you know, this is an approximation based on the satellites. It could be a little bit less or a little bit more, depending on if the plane were to fly exactly on this path, right? And it says the area would be 551,788.34 kilometers square. So again, even looking at this, we're seeing the concept of perimeter, we're seeing the concept of area. Please note, perimeter is measured in kilometers, while area is always measured in units squared. So we were dealing with kilometers, so the area for this particular setup would be in kilometers squared. All right, so let's zoom back out, and we're going to be looking now at the continents, oceans, and seas. All right, I guess this is good. So this large landmass here, this would be North America. And North America, we have Central America, then we have the Isthmus of Panama. We have South America here. Then this large body of water between North and South America and this large landmass called Africa, this would be the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so let's zoom in and see if we can get that being labeled for us. Okay, so here we have the North Atlantic Ocean. And why they're going to specify that this is the North Atlantic is because the equator divides the world into north and south. So if this is above the equator, then this section of the Atlantic Ocean is the North Atlantic Ocean. So the equator would be running somewhere through the top of South America, right? So let's go over now to Africa. And here are some of the countries in Africa. And we see that this is the Sahara. We have Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, Libya, Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, all of those places. Okay. Gonna go up now. And this section would be Europe. Okay. We can see how close Northern Africa is to Europe. We're going to be seeing some of these countries. Let's zoom in a little bit more. We can get the labels. All right. So here we have Portugal, Spain. We have Italy, Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, Romania. We have France, Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, the UK, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, and so on. Now, in addition to this, I want to show you a particular feature. Remember that this is the North Atlantic. Here we have some landlocked bodies of water. So all of this area, we know that there's water and it is surrounded by land. This is called the Mediterranean Sea. For example, here another landlocked body of water. This is the Black Sea, right? Here we have the Caspian Sea. Okay. Go over some more. Here we have the Red Sea. We notice that we have by and large a landlocked area there, Red Sea. Okay. So we notice that seas are generally smaller areas of salt water as compared with oceans, which are large areas of salt water. So that's Europe. We're coming over now to Asia. So here we have Afghanistan, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia. Here we have India, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam. Going over more. Taiwan, the Philippines. Notice now here, this is not a landlocked sea, but it's close to the continent. It's a South China Sea. Here we have the Philippine Sea, East China Sea, the Yellow Sea, Sea of Japan, but these are all referring to smaller bodies of water. So oceans are large bodies of water. Now notice again, here we're coming over this side, we have the what? We have the North Pacific Ocean. Alright, so large body. Now compare this, look at this. And we know based on our studies that the Pacific is the largest of all the oceans. Massive amounts of open water. Going all the way back to the United States. If we fly over, we get over the Gulf of Mexico and back into the Caribbean. So we had North America continent, we had South America continent, that would have been 2. We looked at Africa, 3. We looked at Europe. Okay, so this would have been Europe. We looked at Asia, right? China, all of this area, Asia. Then we need to find, and we spoke about Africa, right? Then we have Australia, and this is an island continent, and we can see why it's considered an island continent in that it's surrounded by water. Large landmass though, that's why it's a continent, surrounded by water. And finally, this would be Antarctica. So to close off this episode, what we have been doing, we've been using Google Earth to locate the continents, oceans, and major seas of the world. We also used it to look at sections of our own community. And before we go, I'm just going to visit the Eiffel Tower in Paris. So here's the Eiffel Tower. Let's zoom in. Let's see if we can get a street view. This is how it would look from street level. So we can see the base of the tower. So when we started, we had a bird's eye view. So we were looking from top down. And in this instance, we have a street view. We're looking from street level. And this clearly is the entrance to the tower. Alright, so what I want you to do now is to go ahead, use Google Earth, find the continents, the oceans, and important places. And I would like you to find the following places. 1, the pyramids of Egypt, the Taj Mahal, and the Empire State Building. Alright guys, take care. See you in the next episode.